Hi, welcome to another Power Blast podcast. Today I'm going to share the story of when I hit rock bottom. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Tinsley here, creator of the Power Blast podcast and owner of PutYourselfFirst.com and a health and fitness coach, and I've been doing that for maybe about 11, 12 years as of this recording, and probably longer, maybe 14, 15 years that I've been helping people and trying to inspire people to get healthy and fit. But today I'm going to share a story with you that I know I've shared before, but I probably don't share frequently enough. I know I posted it on a blog once, and I've got a YouTube video out there, but I can't believe that people will always stumble across that. And I know the perception sometimes is when you say that you're a health and fitness coach, people are thinking, you know what, you've always been in shape. You've always been working out, and I'm not there. People will compare their current situation to things that you've been doing over years. And I wasn't in that place. I think that's why I can relate to people's struggles a lot. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to share a story with you today on the time I hit rock bottom. And I'm actually going to talk a little bit of a story before that even happened. Some of you that do know my story, you know it's coming. And if you're brand new to my story, well, hold on to your seat. So here it was. Basically, I was a guy that, liked to do sports, and just the occasional, my sports were bowling and the occasional once a week volleyball. And at some point that went to the wayside. I pretty much did nothing. I got into technology. I really liked sitting and creating things at my computer. I was a teacher, and I had a teaching job where I videotaped classroom lessons and then edited those lessons so we could use those in professional development opportunities for teachers to learn from. So I really, really enjoyed that. I got to geek out over doing the techno stuff. So along the way came a lot of computer time with Mountain Dew, beers, pizza, burgers, fast food, the occasional, I'm going to get healthy. And the short-lived, I would eat healthy for maybe 3 or 4 days and then go back to my old ways because, it was easier. It was fun. And, being healthy wasn't all that. And I hated vegetables, and I hated, not that I hated to exercise, but exercise, I just didn't have a plan. If I joined a gym, it was totally random. I'd go in and try to guess my way around the machines or guess my way in the weight room, and it would be short-lived. It would be too much of a pain for me to go and get my things ready to drive to the gym and then go to the gym, get dressed, guess my way around the equipment, really not feel motivated at all. And so that's kind of the way things just went, this pattern. And I remember a friend of mine in a bowling league told me that there were a lot of bowlers that had these big beer guts. And he said, oh, don't worry, in your 30s, you'll get one. And I'm like, no way. And sure enough, I got one. And it was like, oh my goodness, I didn't want to be that guy, and I became that guy. So in time, right around, I would say 2002, I came across one of those videotapes. I was videotaping something for somebody, and I caught myself in the shot, and I saw myself. I was just surprised that I looked as big as I did. And maybe it's the video. Sometimes people say video makes you seem a little bit, about 10 pounds more than you are. I don't know. I just knew I wasn't happy, and I knew that I kept buying clothing that was bigger and bigger, and it was easier to just wear spandex or, buy double X, sweatshirts, etc. So I was at this point, kind of a tipping point where I wanted to do something, and I came across an infomercial. And the infomercial was for a program called Power 90. It was on VHS tape. And so one morning in the middle of probably my third bowl of cereal, it spoke to me. It was like, man, that looks like something I could do from home that I can do on my own time and get it done. It looks like the results are pretty compelling. So I didn't want to wake my wife up. I didn't want her thinking, who is making a phone call at 4:30 in the morning? So I go outside and I secretly order this off this infomercial. And I took the resistance bands, whatever the heck those were, and I just bought whatever they said, whatever I saw on the TV that I wanted to do. And so I had done videos in the past, the abs of steel, the thighs of steel, and stuff like that. But those were, kind of just, I just didn't see myself doing that. And so I was like, well, okay, I'm gonna give this a whirl. So finally, like a week and a half later, that it arrives, and I'm scared to death because it was like I was motivated when I ordered it, and now I'm not as motivated when it arrived. So I gave it a try, and I start reading the pamphlets, and it wanted you to work out 6 days a week. And I was like, man, 6 days seems like a lot. And so I tried to do it maybe 3 days a week, which eventually went to 2 days a week, which eventually went to these were VHS tapes. The whole thing went into a drawer, totally forgotten. That was it. And so as that year came along and I caught myself on videotape, I began to think, man, I've got that workout system in the other room. And my wife was wanting to do some sort of eating plan with an Atkins diet of some sort. And I looked at that, and that didn't seem like something for me. So I decided to dig into this program, and I looked for a 90-day block that wasn't going to be filled with a bunch of events and a bunch of holidays and stuff like that would possibly throw me off course. And I committed to the 90 days. And it was hard. Oh my gosh, I thought I could bang out push-ups like nothing. Nope. Make maybe 2 push-ups, and that was it. And so it was very humbling. It would have been very, very easy for me to just give up again and quit. But I said, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to prove that whatever the 90 days were going to pass anyway. And all I wanted to do was show up that day. And I put an X on the calendar. Showed up that day. And I just committed. And every once in a while, my wife would come over to my little booklet and write in, a little note on the calendar. I'm so proud of you for doing this. And that was encouraging. She was noticing things were going well. And I didn't want to weigh myself all the time. I didn't want that to throw me off. So I weighed myself at the beginning, took some day one pictures, and then I just took pictures every 30 days. And I noticed subtle little changes, but nothing dramatic like the infomercial. But I kept going. And by the end of it, I had lost maybe 15 pounds or so, and I was a lot stronger. I was able to do the push-up series and things like that. And it never really clicked to me that these workouts were working my entire whole body. I was just following the program and just watching the dude named Tony Horton on the TV guiding me through this, and I was getting results. So I know a lot of you are going, oh, when are you going to hit? When did you hit rock bottom? I'm coming to that. So I decided to. I was done with the 90 days, and I'm like, there's got to be something else. These workouts are a whole 45 minutes long now. I don't have 45 minutes. I have 30 minutes. A whole 15-minute difference. And so I went and got the series by the same guy, Tony Horton. It was a series called Power Half Hour, and I thought I could just, ease up a little bit and just do the half-hour ones. And it was prompting me that said, hey, if you want to continue your results, then do 2 of the Power Half Hours. And I'm like, well, that's an hour workout. I don't want to do that. So I just did the half-hour ones, and I noticed my progress kind of going a little bit backwards. Not totally, but I was noticing I was putting on a little bit of weight. I probably slacked off my, probably having a few more beers in there and a little bit more soda and stuff like that. So I might have been done with soda by then, but definitely like the beer and the pizza and stuff like that. So I decided to go back to Power 90. But here was the cool thing. After my wife saw my results, she was like, oh my gosh, I think I want to do that too. And so she started digging into some of the, I think, the power half hour workouts. And here was kind of the cool shining moment for me, the big aha that happened. I was looking to try on summer clothing. I was wearing like maybe size 36 pants, and I noticed they were getting a lot looser on me. And just on a whim, it was like, I'm going to say July 5th, okay? On a whim, I go into my closet, and you've probably done this too, where you've outgrown some clothing, but you still hold on to them a little bit. Have you ever done that? Well, I did. I had a pair of jeans that I knew I would fit into again, but there was no way I was going to fit into them again. And so I'm like, I wonder how those fit. And I figured they would probably be pretty snug, but there would be a goal there. And I put them on, and they fit perfectly. And I go out to show my wife, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, it looks like the structure of your hips have been removed," and whatever. It was kind of funny. But I'm like, "Yeah, check these out. They feel great." And so I put my hands in the pockets, and there's a little coin pocket in these pants, and there was a little slip of paper in there. And I'm like, "What is this?" And it was a little movie stub. Obviously, I just worn those jeans to go to a movie one night and just put them back in the drawer and folded them up. I didn't even wash them or anything. And I pulled this out, and it was a movie stub from a movie we had gone to 5 years earlier. I had not been able to fit into those jeans in 5 years. And here I just turned back the clock 5 years. Actually, my goal when I did that program, as I got done, I realized that I wanted to weigh and be in shape the way I was 13 years prior. And this program happened to be 13 weeks long. And so I'm like, I just turned back the clock 1 year per week by committing to this fitness program. That was pretty cool. Pretty cool. So anyway, so my wife, Terry, she joins me, and she starts working out with me. And we're pretty religious on getting our workout in. She got hers done when I got home, and I got mine done when I got home. We were running a German Shepherd rescue, so we were busy. We were both teachers. And so we just kept going on our Beachbody workouts each night and feeling pretty good. As a matter of fact, that Thanksgiving, we're getting ready to have family over, and she's helping me carry like this big heavy table upstairs, and I'm seeing some biceps on this girl. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. You're cute little biceps. That's awesome. That's so great. So things were really going great. We were happier, we were healthier, and we just kept going. Yeah, some of the workouts were a little bit boring, but we just kept going with it, hoping to progress even farther. And then disaster struck. And a lot of times I have a tough time telling this story, but I'm going to do my best to do it here. There was a drizzly evening on December 9th, 2003. And that morning, I was shaving, and Terry came in and kind of gave me this kind of worried look to at me. And I'm like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Well, see you later." I'm like, "Okay, see ya." And I said, "What's up?" She's like, "Well, I'm heading to Madison to get my root canal." And I remembered, oh my gosh, she did not ever like going to the dentist. And most of the time I would drive her to her appointments and back because she would just get stressed out about it. And I had totally forgotten about it. And I had an appointment to go in and videotape some classrooms and stuff. So it wasn't like I could just cancel on that and say, "Oh, I'm going to drive you over there." It's just that we never talked about it, and I totally forgot about it and stressing her out. So I kind of give her a half-hearted kiss because my face is filled with shaving cream. And I said, "Good luck." I felt kind of bad, and I'll see you tonight. And so on my way home, I knew I had a hair appointment. I hope you're still with me on this. I had a hair appointment. And I pull into the driveway, and I see my neighbor. She's walking back to her house, and then she stopped and turned on a dime as I pulled into the driveway. And she's like, "Perry, can I use your phone?" And I'm like, "Mabel, yes, you can. I hope everything's okay, but I've got to get going to a hair appointment real quick, and I've got to let our new German Shepherd puppies out because I've got to get going, and they've got to get out there. Now, normally Terry is home and she's let them out. She's like, well, you may want to cancel that appointment. There's somebody that you need to talk to. And I'm like, okay. So as I see Terry's car's not there, and she's kind of seeming in a little bit of a panic, I agreed. I said I'll go in and call to cancel that appointment, which I did, and I let the puppies out. And the doorbell rings, and the guy there comes and introduces himself. I forget his first name, but he introduces himself as a county coroner. And you just get that sick panic feeling in your gut because you know there's no good news that are going to come from that. And he proceeds to tell me how my wife, on her drive back home that afternoon, her car crossed the center line and went head-on collision with a semi-truck. So 60 miles an hour on 60 miles an hour is killed her instantly. At least I thought it killed her instantly. And that just the decisions that I would need to be making, and where she was at a funeral home that was right down the street from me. And all I could feel was devastation, numbness, loss. Like life is never going to be the same. And for whatever reason, I knew that sharing this news with all of her family and with her friends were going to be very, very tough. And I just knew that instead of doing a traditional funeral, I'd want to carry out Terry's wishes and do a tribute, do a life celebration. So in that numbness, in that crazy stillness, I was able to reach out to her secretary, Terry's secretary, and we planned the entire tribute that night after I gotten the news. And I tell you that while it was so hard, and while the tribute turned out to be totally uplifting and a great celebration of life, and I actually, even later that week, and this is probably a detail that it's not within the story of it, whatever, but apparently my wife had not died instantly on the spot. There was a driver behind her that had pulled over and went to her, and he had a pulse. He found a pulse on her, and he made frantic phone calls to 911 to get somebody there. Now, this was way out in the country, so it's not like there was an ambulance right there. But I got to meet the guy, and he wanted to let me know that he held her hand until she had passed. Because he said, I didn't want her to die alone. That's powerful, powerful stuff. And I was grateful. I was grateful that he'd done that. And so as you can tell, I mean, what do you do with a rock bottom moment like that? And so as the funeral stuff is going on in the next couple weeks, where you're just kind of numb, just going through the motions, and I just knew, this is kind of funny how weird things just pop into your head. I just knew that I didn't want to give in to all the weird food options that people tend to have when they're depressed or when they're going through a funeral. People are bringing over cakes and casseroles and stuff because they care, and that's awesome. But I knew that those were things that were going to derail my progress. And some of you are probably listening and you're going, well, big deal. You could just always get back and just work that off. But my mind was going, you're already in this pattern. So what did I do? I kind of avoided a lot of those things, and family and friends that came over, it was for them. And I kept myself in check that way. But the workouts, I couldn't keep up with them. There was no time there. My body was like in shock, and it probably was for a long time. I didn't even know what was going on. It was just like time went in a totally different dimension. And So after everything settled down, and I had found some places, some people that could watch the dogs, but I still had 4 dogs of my own. No, 3 dogs of my own. And so it still needed to take care, but I found somebody to watch the rescue dogs while I was dealing with some things. I'm still running a German Shepherd rescue here. I started to catch this wind of this new program that Beachbody had coming out. I was watching these videos, and it probably mindless to take my mind off things. And it was a program they were calling Power 90 Extreme, and for short, they were going to call it P90X. But they didn't really reveal the name of it at the time, and I just knew that was something I wanted to continue to do. But how was I going to be able to do it? I mean, I was devastated. And it would have been so easy just to go down the path of saying, yeah, screw it. I've had enough. This is the way life is. And I sat back one day, several days. You get to think a lot when you're by yourself. And you realize that there's a lot of responsibility that's back all on you that you used to share. And I was at a point where I'm like, I'm at this crossroads. I can make the decision right now. Just go down, be depressed, be bummed out, just go back to old ways, and nobody would be would fault me for it. Or I can embrace what sort of things we had been doing with our health and fitness. We were happy. We were feeling great. And I like that feeling. So I can go down the path of feeling crappy, or I can go down the path of feeling great in spite of this situation. And that was a big decision for me. And I said, you know what? I'm going to commit to this. I'm going to dig back into these workouts. And I'm going to push everything I've got. And I'm going to continue forward. And that's what I did. I started another round of Power 90. It has been so many times I had done that, and it was just getting monotonous. But Beachbody kept trickling out these little bitty short workouts that they didn't even have an infomercial for. But they were probably wondering, would anybody even do this? And I'm like one of those people saying, yeah, I'm excited. And there wasn't a lot of us, I don't even know how many they sold when it first came out, but there were a bunch of us that decided, you know what, we're going to give this a try too. And I was fearful. But it was at that time I needed that. I needed P90X so bad to help me feel better, to help my mindset get right, to push beyond what I thought I was possibly what I was even capable of doing. I mean, this is the guy that could barely do 2 push-ups a year before. And here I am, banging out a couple sets of, I forget how many, well over 100, almost 200 push-ups in the very first workout of P90X. It was crazy insane, but it was totally awesome. And I hadn't looked back. I went and I decided, you know what? I'm going to start sharing my story. And hopefully, I'm hoping that, I know people deal with death all the time. And that was the other thing I told myself. You know what? Your story is not unique, Perry. People lose people all the time. Maybe not in a tragic way this is, but people lose people all the time. And there's always the decision, how you're going to deal with it. And I wanted to do something that could honor my wife, could celebrate life, and I could continue forward and continue her legacy with the dog rescue, and eventually led to the growth of a dog park in her name, and could continue forward with our fitness and hopefully inspire others. And that's what I did. I submitted my story. It got used in a P90X infomercial maybe a year or so later, and that resonated with people. People saw me, asked me questions, and I pointed them to the Beachbody website. P90X. Power 90 is where I started. Start with this. And Beachbody had a couple of programs by then that gave a little bit of variety. P90X might have seemed over the top for many people, and I agree. But I had some people that just jumped right in and did so well. And that felt great. That felt even more powerful because I felt like I was sharing this gift. The decision that I made was inspiring others to make a decision based on whatever circumstances they were doing. Maybe it wasn't a tragic thing. Maybe they didn't hit rock bottom. Maybe they were just looking for a change. Maybe they were looking to ramp up what they were doing. Maybe they were looking to get in shape and be able to. One guy was wanting to lose weight so he could donate a kidney. One guy was wanting to lose weight so he could go and run a marathon. To achieve goals that people, never thought they could possibly do because we got into a little funk when we were when we weren't watching, when we weren't paying attention, and we got lazy. And then tried to realize we got to, in order to turn this stuff around, we got to take responsibility and we got to take action. So when you decide that, you still have to take the action to do it. There's a lot of people that get inspired and get fired up. They're watching an infomercial. They're going to do this, and then they don't show up. They don't do that. So for me, it was one day at a time. From that time I hit rock bottom, one day at a time. The program was 90 days. Each time I did these programs, it was 90 days. 90 days. That's 13 weeks. That's way too long. It seems forever. But they blow by when you show up one day at a time, because you just do today. Just do today. Did I show up? Did I get my workout done? Did I try my best to at least eat 80% clean, 80% good? Because I know that nutrition now is part of it. But it took literally, I don't know if we would have continued to on that same fitness plan and same fitness pattern. But the part when P90X came out, that was my saving grace. That was the something that I could dig into. That was where I was with a small group of people on a mission to do something big and to prove this could be done at home. That felt great, and then it felt even better when I was able to share that with people. So anyway, I appreciate you for listening in. If you listen in on this much, man, you totally rock. I really, really appreciate you. And if you feel like my story resonated with you or could resonate with somebody else, or you know of somebody that's gone through a really, really tough time and they could use a little lift up or even want to connect with me, I'm here. PerryTinsley@gmail.com. You can reach me there. You can reach me in the comment section below or over on social media. Just Google Perry Tinsley and you can find any of those, and we can connect. You can hit me up over on iTunes. Just do a search for Power Blast Podcast or look for it in your app. It's on video version and an audio version. It's right there for you. I know a lot of times people like the audio version because they listen in the car. And if you're in there, please leave a rating and review. It will help other people find this show and find its value. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a subscriber for this podcast. And thank you for sharing it. You absolutely rock, my friend. And remember, it's never too late. We'll see you next week.